Okay, we're going. Derek, you got a whole Great Wall intro planned. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, actually, Rocco, I was thinking you always go off and do like a funny bit. You make fun of the movie some way. And I was really excited to see what you had planned for today's entry, The Great Wall.
Oh, um, yeah. Oh, I got yeah. What? Oh yeah. Hey,
Actually,
guy.
no,
Hey
no, wait, wait,
guys.
wait. I believe, you and me, we always do something. Let's throw this one over to Sean for
Yeah.
our
Oh,
like cold opening comedy skit.
Yeah.
okay, ready? Okay. Do you do you trust me? Yeah, I trust you. All right, then let's go.
What?
That was great. Wow, he really saved
Whoa.
that one.
Yeah.
Pulled it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Can I be totally honest? I don't know if you
Sure.
want me to be real on here or not.
Yeah, you can be real.
I don't. I think we should cut that out.
No, come on.
You're white, and I don't think you should have been in this.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
All right, that's great. We are doing The Great Wall today on Movie Club. Thank you for joining us, everybody. The Great Wall, starring Matthew Damon. It's a 2016 film that came out that was pretty much regarded as like a huge flop and like an embarrassment for Hollywood and just one of the worst movies ever made, supposedly.
Yeah.
But I had never seen it, and I didn't know anybody who had ever seen it. So I nominated it for Movie Club today. We all watched it. I can say that my mind is blown.
Mhm.
This movie blew my mind.
It blew mine too, and it was immediate. Oh, there is a huge budget behind this movie. Like you instantly see that.
Yeah, this movie is the most expensive film ever made on Chinese soil.
Wow.
Damn.
This it costs, I believe, $135 million to make. It's the most expensive movie ever produced in China. It was funded by 4 different major companies. One of them was, I believe, Universal was the American company. So one American movie company put up a little bit of money, and then the rest came from China. The idea was this was going to kick off the great American Hollywood movie marriage.
I mean, Chinese Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Chinese Hollywood.
Yeah.
Chinese.
Finally,
Hollywood.
America and Hollywood together.
Oh, America, Hollywood, they're coming together. They're going to make great movies. No, Beijing and Hollywood, China and America.
Yeah.
And what I read about this movie was, even though this movie is considered a flop, that notion was like kind of well received. It was like significant. It kind of raised a flag. Like, okay, America is officially trying to make films for China and the world. Like, and that says something. Unfortunately, nobody enjoyed this movie, so kind of tanked. But we'll talk about that today.
Yeah.
Wait, China was involved in this movie?
Yeah,
I thought so,
shocking.
yeah.
What did you guys know about this movie, if anything, going into it?
This is what I thought. It's going to be Matt Damon has to protect China from the Mongolians or something. That's what I walked into the movie thinking. And I was very, very surprised by what I got.
Yeah, I think the most hilarious aspect of this film is that people spent months being mad about it with no concept of what the movie was or anything.
Right.
And what's hilarious is that nobody ever saw it. So there's no one that can refute the claim.
Yeah,
it was like,
seriously.
This is bullshit. Matt Damon is playing a part in this, and that's wrong. That's historically inaccurate. And little did they know, this movie is some Warcraft arcade bullshit, which none of it matters. It's just, let's shoot digital lizards.
Yeah,
And,
it was the... I had heard this movie was racist and that, once again, Hollywood is whitewashing a story about Asia and having an American play the lead. And it's a white savior movie. He's going to come in, and this movie was like Lord of the Rings, or like meets Starship Troopers. It was like so bizarre and crazy. Yeah, nobody knows what it is, and just judged it before it ever came out.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Do we live in a time where there's a lot of outrage? Sure. Yes. But I'm always hesitant to be like, outrage culture, whatever, and get all uppity about it, because so much of it is just, whether it gets out of hand or not, it comes from a place of wanting things to be better for people who haven't been able to make it so, there's voices that haven't been heard, and all of this stuff together, sometimes things get out of hand, sure, but it's all a byproduct of people wanting to make this stuff better and more inclusive, and all of this stuff. This movie exists as an example of there will be what am I trying to say? There are exceptions to every rule. This movie stands as an example of, okay, we were mad about this without really looking into what it was. Like, it's like, we maybe this battle was worth fighting over these other 3 movies that came out. There were legitimately like Japanese roles that were going to white people, and that was, worth having that conversation. But then this got roped into it, and it's like, hold on, no, that's not.
Let's talk about this movie.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the controversy.
Yeah.
That way people are more informed. And we can have we can really talk about what people thought and then what the movie ended up being.
Yeah.
Because I agree with I think with what you're saying, and I have some thoughts. And there's a lot of controversy about this movie regarding that. There was controversy about this movie in China, and it's not what you think.
Okay.
So there's a lot to talk about. I'm super excited. This movie is considered a flop for whatever reason. I don't know if we want to like talk about the plot or talk about like the reception first.
Well, I think here's the thing: is it's a flop in the sense of what it made here, but worldwide it made like $350 million. Like it was a huge hit.
Yeah. Well,
anyways,
can I tell you something? In doing my research for this movie, I think I learned a lot about America's place in the world. Because everything you said is true, except for it being a hit in China. This movie, it did make $45 million in the United States and Canada and was considered a flop. And then it went to China and it made $170 million in China, which is considered a flop in China, according to the articles on this movie, which just made me think like, how much money do they make on films in China? Holy shit. You make $170 million is considered like a disappointing movie?
Yeah, whoa.
That was crazy. All right, well, all that being said, let's get into it. Matt Damon's The Great Wall.
It does seem, just to say though, it does seem like, without getting into it too much right now, it does seem like whenever I hear about the movie that they try to make a like American and Chinese hit, there's been other ones too. This one is the most glaring example, but it seems like when they really try to make it like, oh, China will really love this. Oh yeah, then that's when it kind of doesn't do well. It's like maybe they're trying too hard, or maybe I don't know. But I feel like I've heard that.
I felt like this movie, it was directed by like a successful Chinese director.
Yeah.
I have his name here. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Zhang Yimou, maybe. It's the guy who directed Hero with Jet Li and like House of Flying Daggers. Like he's directed all these movies in China. He's a big Chinese director. Okay. But this movie was written by the same writer who brought you Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and one of the writers from Armageddon.
This makes so much sense.
Yeah, it does.
Everything you just said makes, because it was directed well, the story was fucking bonkers, but it was. I mean, there was direction there.
Yeah, so that kind of gives you some context for who was behind the wheel on this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the movie opens with like the Universal logo, and it's the planet Earth, and then so genius, it zooms into China, guys. Wow. And here we are in our movie. And then we get some of like the worst CGI of all time, in my opinion. The CGI was so bad, I thought they were like doing it on purpose.
Me too.
For like artistic reasons.
Because I was like, this is too recent to be legitimate, right? Like,
it looked like a video game cutscene, and I'm so used to playing video games. I was like, oh, they're gonna do like still image, like retelling the story, but I don't think so. I think it was just like really bad CG.
Yeah.
And then we meet like Matt Damon in the desert. What's going on here? I thought he was a Viking at first, but he's with the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Pedro
Pascal.
Yeah, who I didn't know was in this at all.
Me neither. Very pleasant surprise, I thought, to see him. I was like, oh, cool.
I didn't know it. Everybody watching this episode of Movie Club didn't know it until we just said it now.
Seriously.
Yeah, this was the first instant of me repeatedly being like, I don't know jack shit about this movie. I don't know what we're going to get. And immediately I was thinking, like, this is a dumb movie. What are these, like, fucking Vikings in China? Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But they're, like, mercenaries. They're in China. They're searching for the secret of black powder. They're looking for gunpowder. At this point, I was thinking, like, who wrote this trash? This is so cliche.
Yeah.
But then, pretty early in the movie, Matt Damon, Pedro Pascal, and their whole band gets attacked by some weird green monster, and they kill it. And we should say they decide, like, oh, let's drop some weight, let's divvy up our supplies, let's get rid of this magnet thing. Matt Damon's like, give me the magnet. Then they get attacked by this monster, and they kill it, and they take its arm, and they don't know what to do with it. And they're like, let's take this arm and show it to somebody. Maybe somebody can explain this to us. At this point, I started thinking, like, are there fucking monsters in this movie? Yeah. Like, is this going to get cool?
I wish you could. My face was captured when that arm first appeared, because I think it was more like a, like, what is that fucking thing doing here?
Yeah, it piqued my interest. They take the arm, they get chased by some, I think they're Mongolian raiders, some bad dudes. They run all the way, they get chased all the way to the Great Wall, which is a fortress, and they have this, like, incredible army and archers that, like, stop them with these, like, surreal arrows. Like, they kind of, like, outline them with arrows.
Yeah.
And again, I'm watching this movie being like, okay, that's not really realistic, but maybe it's not supposed to be. And basically, like, Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal are taken captive by the army that guards this wall. That's the setup for this movie. And then, I mean, quickly we see that this is not actual medieval China. This is like some insane fantasy magical army. Like, their armor is super vibrant, blue and red and yellow, like super colorful. And they have these, like, weird bungee jumping, spear throwing, almost like flying soldiers, and like harpoons mounted and big trebuchets on the wall. Like, this is totally it's like Lord of the Rings, right? What did you guys think?
Yeah, I thought this reminded me of the Battle of Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings. I'm like, this is the same fucking thing. Like, this is also, I was so confused at all times. Like, they kept going to take their capture, we're taking them into this gigantic hall, and it's like, is this inside the wall? Like, where is this? Like, I couldn't figure out where I was, because the wall is not that wide, and where are we in this world? I couldn't figure it out. And then, like, they show you, like, oh, here we are in some mysterious, our view is this green mountain. It's like, what? Like, I don't know. The Emerald City's over there? I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
This movie, it starts by saying, like, the wall took 1,700 years to build. And this is just one legend about that wall, which, by the way, is apparently true. The Great Wall of China took 1,700 years to build. It was built by a bunch of different emperors in like 20-year nuggets. So
Wow.
we actually learned something about the Great Wall of China. You're welcome, everybody.
There you go.
You got the answer to a Jeopardy question. But yeah, this movie, I mean, just to cut to the chase, and what Matt Damon and these characters find out very quickly is a meteor landed here thousands of years ago and has unleashed a horde of aliens that attack every 60 to 80 years.
Yeah.
What Matt Damon found was like one scout monster, and they can't believe that he was able to kill it. Like, what the fuck? Nobody can kill these things. Yeah, so they built the Great Wall of China, but I mean, in this movie, it's more like the wall from Game of Thrones, right? To answer your question of where are they, it's like this giant fantasy wall. You know, where's the fortress in the wall of Game of Thrones? I don't know how it is quite laid out, but we're so far away from like real reality here.
Right, then you don't think about it or care, really?
I literally never thought about it, and you bring it up now, and I'm like, yeah, they were like in a castle and a fucking fortress. I thought we were on the Great Wall of China. Like, where did this whole movie take place? I don't have the answer to that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of what happens. And as hokey and as corny as that sounds, for the first act of this movie, it was kind of cool. Like, they set it up like, we have this weird monster thing that you're going to fight, and we're going to show it to you right now. And they take him to the top of the wall, and this like million monster horde attacks the wall. And I mean, I don't know what you guys thought. It reminded me of like World War Z, like CGI hordes.
The way they were designed was like, wait, their eyes are in their shoulders, and that can instantly kill them if they get hit in the eye. Is what they kind of established, which is some weird. Never seen that before. That was new.
Yeah, for me, this movie was an oh no in the first 10 seconds. Like as soon as it started, I was like, oh, this is some Warcraft shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was.
Yeah, it really was. It's funny, that thing about the eyes being on their shoulders. I was watching this movie and I'm like, their eyes are on the side of the head, not the front of the head. That means they're like, by definition, not predators. Whatever.
But see, it's all Chinese propaganda. They're telling you how bad vegans are, and I agree, and I agree with them.
There you go.
We gotta stop this vegan thing.
It's not that I thought this movie was good, but I'm watching this movie and I thought this is no worse than other bullshit movies that are total successes. I just watched the new Wonder Woman movie 2 weeks ago. I think this movie might be better than that movie.
Hey,
that movie was a smash success.
I agree.
You are blowing my mind, because I left this Great Wall movie like, yeah, that was a film, and like just very dismissive. And you're completely right. It's like, oh my god, yeah, I would rather watch this again than the Wonder Woman.
And Pedro Pascal's in both.
Oh, Pedro, what are you doing?
I mean, I didn't know what this movie was going to be, but at this point in the movie, I was just thinking, why does this movie fail when other movies that are exactly like this are huge successes?
You know why this was better than Wonder Woman? Because something happened. That's what this movie had on Wonder Woman.
This movie definitely started. I mean, I thought it was like, you know, an interesting CGI wannabe Lord of the Rings meets Starship Troopers.
Meets Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. The graphics kind of suck, but Matt Damon, in regards to what everybody was saying about Matt Damon being like the savior or whitewashing this, he's a pretty shitty character. He's a mercenary who's there to steal gunpowder, but he is not more competent than the Chinese army characters who are already there.
Yeah.
They are like more disciplined, stronger, they fight for a cause, and he has to learn to like be as good as them. So that's kind of what the movie's about. It's also not that offensive of a story, you know, as it was portrayed to be before it came out.
What was his fucking accent? It was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
It was there sometimes and gone sometimes. It was so inconsistent. It's like, why even have it?
I couldn't tell if he was a Viking. According to what I read, he's supposed to be an Irish mercenary. And so every once in a while, he'll be like, give me a sword and I will kill them. I know that sounds like I'm being fucking bad, but he doesn't sound any better than I just did
That's what it sounded like
throughout the movie. He sounded like a bad Sean Connery.
Yeah, it was like, dude, I read that he spent like all this time with like a world-class archer to get good for the movie, which was a waste of time. Spent it with a fucking accent coach. Like every shot was CG. It didn't matter. Like learn your accent.
I totally agree. And to be fair on the other side, if anything is offensive about this movie, it's that the idea that this represents Chinese culture in any way, and that if you don't know anything about China, that you would learn something from this. Yeah. And I'm also watching this movie being like, all right, so clearly the Chinese have been fighting these aliens for generations, and they haven't figured out how to fucking beat them.
Yeah.
So Matt Damon's here, and he's going to think of something they never thought of, whatever that is. Whatever the fuck that's. So I'm just like, at some point, he's going to like outsmart everyone in China. I'm waiting for it. Here's the answer to that. The monsters that they fight are kind of intelligent, and they always collect their dead. They, the Tao Te never leave a body behind, right? And so the nameless army, who are the good guys, they have no way of studying their enemy. They can't really figure out how to fight them or beat them. So Matt Damon says, well, clearly we need to capture one. And I saw these men hunt whales once in Spain, giant beasts, and we'll hunt them like that. Ugh. And I was like, cool. Matt Damon's going to teach him how to fish.
Yeah,
Tight.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what he does. They mount these harpoons and they shoot the Tao Te with them, and the harpoons start breaking, and he's like, oh, too tight. Let the line go. Let the line go. I'm like, yeah, They have probably fished before, but okay. Brilliant idea. Sure. And it works. The Tao Te are smart too. These like monster dragon alien things like set a trap on the Great Wall. They like lure the army out and then attack it from behind. Right? Yeah. We're getting into the middle of the movie. Yeah. This honestly is where I kind of started checking out from the film, and I'm like, all right, this movie does suck. I mean, it's no better or worse than any of these other big budget trash films. Yeah. And I always kind of check out in movies, around this part. What were your guys' thoughts?
Well, first off, we really didn't mention it. William Dafoe is there. Willem Dafoe is like randomly there as just like some shitty background like guy who they won't let leave, but he's not a prisoner. So he's chilling there.
That wasn't clear to me either.
So Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal are mercenaries, and they're here trying to steal gunpowder to bring it back to the West. Willem Dafoe is already here. He's like a mercenary from 25 years ago who tried to do the same thing. And he basically says, you can have gunpowder here, but you can't leave with it alive. Mm-hmm. And that's why he has stayed behind this whole time. Him and Pedro form a plan to steal the gunpowder and get out, while Matt Damon, he came for the gunpowder, but now he kind of wants to stay. He's kind of falling in love with this general of the Nameless Army. He kind of wants to join up and fight for a cause. Mm-hmm. That's what the second act is all about, right?
Yes.
Willem Dafoe was whatever in this movie.
I heard it was supposed to be Bryan Cranston originally.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter who that character is useless, really. I mean, I don't know, maybe.
But if that character had been, if Bryan Cranston had gone full Walter White, I'm talking bald with a mustache with glasses. You want to get gunpowder? You'll do exactly what I say. I would have been so in. But
that's true. That's true.
But as it stands,
he's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi character. I know, the old guy who's been around, who failed, but with the young guy's help, maybe he can finally pull it off.
Right. He was just there to give us some plot and let us know that, that's what his purpose was, really.
I read a review of this movie and I agree. It said the big thing that sucks about this movie, where it really fails, is the bromance and the chemistry between Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal is like not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After I read that, having seen this, I thought that was absolutely correct, because this whole second act is drama between these two friends. I thought we were here to steal the powder. Oh, I'm here for a bigger cause. And it's like, these guys are fucking annoying. Like, they just bitch at each other.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not good when multiple times during the movie I'm going, are they friends?
Yeah.
Right?
Are like,
yeah, I really thought they were going to kill each other. I thought that Pedro Pascal was going to turn into a bad guy and turn into like the real bad guy.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so this movie gets real shitty towards the end. If the Taotai, if these monsters make it to the capital of China, the world will literally end. Because they say that at the beginning of the movie. Well, guess what happens at the end of the movie?
Oh, no.
Not only did the fucking Taotai make it to the capital, they take that one that they captured and they fucking mail it to the capital.
Yeah.
I mean, you told us at the beginning of the movie, that's the one thing you don't do. And then you go, and so shit gets out of hand, and they realize they got to kill the queen of the Taotai, and it'll kill all of them. I hate when that is the solution to the monsters are going to overrun the world unless we kill the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The climax of this movie is, as Sean previously mentioned, Matt Damon is a badass archer. He climbs to the top of like a psychedelic stained glass tower in the Capitol. Remember I mentioned he kept a magnet at the beginning of this movie? They find out that magnets are the Taotai's weakness.
Yeah.
They never explain. What? Yeah.
Yeah. So weird.
I kept thinking I missed something with the magnets. I'm like, do they have like lead stomachs, or
they can't hear the queen talking to them, and they fall asleep when they can't hear the queen talking to them. I don't fucking know. It made no sense.
Dude, remember when I said I checked out? Sean, you actually paid attention. You're right. If they lose contact with the queen, they become like paralyzed. And I guess the magnet interferes with that psychic connection.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really interferes with the psychic connection? Shooting the queen in the head with a fucking dynamite arrow, which is what Matt Damon does. He blows her up to hell, and all the Taotai just like go limp. And I mean, the world is saved, but what do they do with the millions of bodies of these dead monsters?
You gotta eat them.
I also thought they ate them. I made a really bad joke, like, and now you know where orange chicken came from. But let's cut this out of the final cut of this episode. That's really offensive. That's a joke I made in my living room at the end of a long, bad movie. I'm sorry, everybody. But legit, they never explained what they did with all that stuff.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
Shame on me. That's how the movie ends. Matt Damon can't get a clear shot until they like huck a magnet at the queen, and then her bodyguards go limp and he snipes her.
Yeah. We kind of glazed over the part where it's like the general dies, makes the girl in charge. Then William Dafoe and Pedro Pascal steal the black powder.
Yeah.
And then betray Matt Damon. But that's just all, who cares?
It's all run-of-the-mill shit, honestly. It's everything that happens in every one of these big budget movies.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, good. He has to prove to them once again that he's not trading, he's not a traitor, and he like is gonna fight with them. It's like, okay, like we didn't mention the dumbass, lame ass air balloons that they made that they had to ride on to go to the Capitol that kept crashing. That was stupid. There's a lot that but it doesn't matter because nothing mattered.
Nothing matters. So this movie went on to finish third the week that it opened in America, behind the Lego Batman movie and
not even the
50 Shades Darker.
Oh my God. That's brutal. Matt Damon was in China for a year, half a year, with his family filming this movie. Like he spent like a big chunk doing.
They really thought
this
was going to be like the new era of filmmaking, where America and Hollywood and Beijing and China came together.
Oh,
I read a piece of trivia that says this isn't a club of just a few movies where it earned $100 million in China, but didn't make $100 million in America.
oh.
Listen to this list of movies.
Okay.
This movie, Terminator Genesis,
Yeah.
Warcraft,
Oh,
and Triple X Return of Xander Cage.
What the fuck?
What? I did not see that one coming. I
All
knew that
great
about
movies.
Warcraft, and I knew that about that Terminator movie.
Yeah.
We had
Well, I remember-
we had given up on Terminator here, but overseas it still kind of kills.
In Warcraft,
I'm just amazed that Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage, made over $100 million in China.
Why
What?
that?
In
don't know.
China?
That's so weird.
I don't know what's going on. I got to go to China. I got to see what's up.
yeah, you got to
You go
go.
down there, and you go to China, ladies and gentlemen, and it all makes sense. You spend 6 months in China, and you're like, yo, Triple X Return of Xander Cage is like one of the best fucking movies ever. Now I get it.
I will say though, with this
Cultural.
movie, it was visually exciting, like at all times. Whether it be stupid, which it was, but it's like it's always some dumb shit of like an arrow going through this long thing, and then it was all something to look at. Like we watched movies on Movie Club that were just abysmal. Like I keep going back to Dane Cook's movie, whatever that was. Good Luck, Chuck.
Oh,
Like there is nothing you could take out of that could bring you joy. Whereas this, like, I don't care about any of this, but like, all right, funny looking. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. Whatever. I got something out of this.
Yeah, the monster CGI kind of sucked, but the action itself was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. It was easy to follow. I mean, this is the director who made Hero and a bunch of other kung fu movies and movies that aren't kung fu movies that are just good movies. I think it was just the story that was just so stupid.
yeah, and so everything that you're mentioning is valid, but without that holding it together, to me, it's a video game cutscene.
Sure.
It's like
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
that doesn't offend me because
yeah.
Sure. The whole thing, like even the girls jumping off the thing with the spears, like this is cool to look at. I don't really care about any of it, but all right, cool.
There's plenty of movies that I've watched where I've gone like, okay, this is a video game cutscene, and it's like I know that, and that's fine, but that's how this one kind of reads to me. Yeah.
But you saying that this was written by the guy who made Prince of Persia?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, the Prince of Persia and the Prince of Persia movie, right?
I understand.
Yeah,
but
the Prince of Persia movie.
I'm just double checking for myself. That rings totally true because the scripts for both movies have the same like hollow tone of just like going here, doing this, going here, doing this, going. Like they play the same. That's interesting.
Interesting piece of trivia about some real good movies. There was a Chinese general in this movie played by the actor Andy Lau.
Yeah, I was just going to bring this up. I think what you're going to say.
You probably are. We were probably on the same page. He was the guy who was like dressed in black a lot. He and Matt Damon played the same character in The Departed. The Departed is based off of a Chinese movie called Internal Affairs.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The Departed won Best Picture here in America, and Matt Damon played the character who was kind of the police mole working for the gangsters. Andy Lau played that same character in the original Chinese version.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
And I like both of those movies. It's been a long time. I don't know how they hold up, but at least back in 2006, I liked both of those movies. So I thought that was kind of neat.
I never saw Internal Affairs, but I like The Departed.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all there is to be said about Great Wall.
Really.
Let's give it some popcorn shakes.
Okay. Go ahead, Derek. Here's your pick, so you can go first.
I'm gonna give Great Wall 2 out of 5 popcorn shakes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I was thinking 2 as well, and it's gonna be definitely not for the acting. I think more for just like the style of it and like the thought, like the mechanics of everything they did was like, oh, it's cool that they're trying to figure this stuff out with like technology without. I don't fucking know. It was just interesting to look at. 2 stars. 2 stars for me.
This is all much higher than I thought it was going to be. Because
I enjoyed this more than Love Actually. Let me say that.
Oh fuck! Oh.
You know what I think? I think this movie got a bum rap, and my expectations were so low. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the movie I got. Too. Because the DC movies and other big budget $150 million movies, Transformers, they're all the same as this one. And this one was no better or no worse.
Yeah.
But it gets a bum rap. And so
this
for that
movie, Derek, was the perfect choice. This is why Movie Club exists. Because I would have never in a million years watched this movie had it not been for this. And I'm glad that we saw it because I did not like it, but I did have fun being like, oh my God, like laughing at it. So
yeah, I think the fact that it is so shit on, the fact that so many people out there have not seen this movie actually earns it a 2nd star in my book. And that's why I give it 2 stars.
Yeah. All right, Rocco, what you got?
1. I'm giving it a
That's
1.
Fair.
There's almost no value to any of it. It was, it was colors and sounds. I'm giving it 1 star because I like some of the actors in it, but it was of no like meaning to me. I think it deserves the bad rap if you've seen it. But like you were saying, there's a lot of people who have like written it off without seeing it. But I'm not going to encourage you to see it. So what does it matter anyway? So one, it's a 1 for me.
What does it matter anyway?
If you want, don't see it. The director said that he felt like the criticisms about the movie being whitewashed and all that stuff, he felt like that was unfair. Mm-hmm. He had said in interviews that he had felt like people had judged the movie without seeing it. And he said that he felt like the movie he made was the opposite of what it was being accused of. He thought it was actually a movie about bringing 2 cultures together and that the movie was predominantly Chinese. It had like 3 non-Chinese actors. He was like, this is the biggest Chinese movie ever embraced by America. He's like, I can't believe so many people shit on it without watching it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with that. Like to that point, I mean, half the movie was subtitled. I mean, it was, tons of Chinese actors it told its own story. It wasn't trying to tell anybody else's story. And the fact that so many people were mad about it not being the story it should be. Well, what should it be? It's them fighting fucking CGI lizards. Like what is the fact that it was, and that's what I mean. It's like it got roped up into a lot of controversies with other movies where maybe it was valid and it was like wrong place, wrong time. It just didn't deserve any of that. It's totally its own thing. And I didn't think any of that was necessary, but
you should shit on this movie, but you have to watch it before you can shit on it. Yeah. And I think that's what we came away with.
I mean, shit on generic blockbusters because this is one of them, but the rest of it is.
In regards to shitting on this movie, the last thing I'll say, there was a little bit of controversy in China with this movie because this movie was not critically well received in China. It got a 4 out of 10 on 2 different
that's not good.
Chinese equivalents of like Rotten Tomato and Metacritic. The problem is the company that funded this film supposedly has very close ties with the Chinese government. And the Chinese government was really banking on a good relationship with Hollywood and movies like this being a huge success. The government started taking down bad reviews of this movie and trying to suppress bad reviews of this movie in China.
I will tell you that I was looking to get some info on this movie and there was surprisingly little. And I was like, that seems weird. I can't really find a lot of the negative or whatever stuff for this.
So careful what you say about this movie, ladies and gentlemen. Careful what you say.
Yeah, Rocco's going to regret that 1 star. I'll tell you what.
And Rocco may not be around for future episodes. He might be deleted.
Yep.
Okay, I wish I would have been told this up front. No, I thought it was good. No, I have 5. It's a 5 bagger for me.
5 shake. We're shaking all the way to the bank, baby.
I love it. I was watching it. It's funny, when I was checking out this movie, I was on my Huawei phone, which I love.
Oh my god. I keep saying stars, and I apologize. It is shakes, and I'm popping shakers. I'm sorry, everyone.
I gave it bags of popcorn for a minute, so we're all even.
That's it for this episode. Whose pick is it?
It's me. I'm picking next. We are going to watch a documentary. We have never done a documentary, so I don't know how it's going to work, but let's find out together. It won the Oscar for Best Documentary in 2018. We're going to watch Free Solo, about climbing El Capitan in Yosemite. So,
yeah, Free Solo. Now, and that documentary is on. Is it on Disney Plus?
It's on Disney Plus. That is correct.
Okay.
I think it's also on Amazon or something else.
Yeah, you can get it on whatever, but I know that if anybody has Disney Plus, I know it's like on the front of that all the time. So okay.
Yeah, it's right there. So, yeah, let's watch Free Solo, and cool. Well, guys, that was fun. That was
no way. Free Solo is going to be better than Great Wall. I'm gonna give it 1 right now, preemptively.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
maybe I'll change my mind after I watch it. I don't know.
I'll save it. I've seen Free Solo. I will say I'm not going to give my score just yet, but the CGI lizards are better in Free Solo a little bit.
That's a good point.
So I'll keep it to myself.
Okay, cool.
We'll see you next time, everybody, on Movie Club.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
wait, I forgot to do this bit in the middle of the episode. Ready?
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
God damn it.
I'm going to end it.
Oh my God, you haven't.